Hey y'all, this is Liz, and you're on my channel, Cornbread Fabulous. On this channel, I tell stories. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're serious, but one thing I can promise, they're all cornbread fabulous. So let's get into today's story, which involves my granddaddy, Toot. When my granddaddy was a kid, he said that him and his brother would get into all kinds of trouble, his brother Willie. And they would go into the neighbor's watermelon patch and steal watermelons. And they got into trouble for it. So my granddaddy said that his mama told them, y'all need to stay out of that man's watermelon patch. The Lord's going to send something after you if you keep taking that man's watermelons. So, of course, they didn't make any promises. I think my granddaddy was 6 and his brother was 8. So they were out in the yard sitting under a tree on a Sunday afternoon. And that was the only time they didn't have to work in the field. So it was hot. And my granddaddy said that his brother Willie said to him, Toot, let's go over there and get us a big old watermelon and sit it down there in the creek and get it cold. And then we'll bring it home, surprise everybody. So my granddaddy said, all right, let's go. So they ran down the dirt path to the watermelon field patch. And they picked up one that was so heavy that both of them had to carry it. So they were carrying this big old watermelon all the way back down the dirt path. And they were starting to get tired. So they stopped for a second. And they heard some rustling along the side of the dirt path. And so my granddaddy said, Willie, do you hear that? And he said, yeah, sound like something's in the bushes. So my granddaddy said, well, as long as it stays in the bushes and don't come after us, let's go. So they started walking with that watermelon. And my granddaddy just happened to glance over his shoulder because he was a little nervous about all them sounds that were coming out of the bushes. And about that time, he saw this big old black snake. And it was coming down the path towards them. And my granddaddy told Willie, run! But they didn't want to drop that watermelon. So they were trying to run carrying this heavy watermelon, the two boys. And my granddaddy said that he looked back again and that snake had rolled itself into a hoop and had gotten even faster and was coming at them like a wagon wheel. And he hollered to Uncle Willie. He said, I'm dropping my side and you better drop yours. And they left that watermelon in the middle of the path and ran home. And then my granddaddy said he promised he would never take another watermelon out of a patch again without permission. Oh, Lord. Anyway, just a silly story from small time life. If you've enjoyed this story or you have a similar story about a family member, please leave a comment. And as always, click subscribe and turn on notifications. Have a good one. Until next time, stay cornbread fabulous.